Do is we're going to make two classes here. So over here I'm going to make two classes inside my AP exam. The first one is called the hiking driver. This is going to drive both classes. This is the one in charge of the entire thing. So here inside the hiking class, what you're going to do is you're going to do public static void main string args. This is what's going to run the class. Now, the first line inside of here is going to be hiking. This is going to be the other class, so let's make it real quick here. So we go new, make a new class, and let's call it hiking. So now I have two classes, the driver, which is called hiking driver, and then the class hiking. So what you do here is hiking. Now, what we're doing when we do this first line, it says, okay, go to the other class, go to the hiking class, and make an object, and let's name that object. And usually it's some reference towards what the class name is. So I'll call it hike 1 equals new hiking. So I include hiking there, and what that's called is called that making an instance of the class hiking. So what that does is that allows you to mess with all the, allows you to use all the class objects and allows you to use all the methods inside the hiking class. So right now there's nothing in the hiking class, so let's put some stuff in the hiking class for us to use. So over here, this is the hiking class. And I'm going to kind of just make the two global variables for this, which are called class variables. They're just for this class. Nobody else can use them. So the first one is private int elevation. So as you read in the sheet, you're going to put in a certain amount of elevations on a hike you're going on. And then you have scanner. KB equals new scanner. Our very old and used a lot way of typing into the program. So those are the two variables that every method in this class can use. Now notice it's private elevation. So that means it's encapsulated, meaning it's stuck inside this program. Nobody outside of this program could see it unless I specifically send it over here. They can't sneak over and look at elevation or change elevation, but it's stuck just right here. So the first method, very fancy method, it's called the constructor. And what this does is it sets up, first thing I want to say is it same name as the class. So this method is going to be called hiking. And what it does is it sets up all the class variables. So everything that's up there, and now in this case it's just elevation, it's going to set it up. Now as you read in the sheet, we're going to put in a certain amount of elevation points for this hike we're going on so we can kind of work with it. So to finish up the constructor, it's called public hiking. It's the same name as the program it's in. So up here it's class hiking, same exact name. And then notice there's no void, there's no return, it's always just the name there. So then we put out system.out.println how many checkpoints. We're going to randomly check on our hike how many points there are and what the elevation are. Now remember, if you read the sheet, what you were going to do is you were going to randomly create a number between 0 and 100. So some elevation points here to make this. So elevation. So now back to the array. We're going to stick all those random points into the array. Elevation, here's elevation. Now, line 7, all I did was say, hey, this is an array of integers called elevation. And then here, line 16, you're going to stick the points in there. So new int checkpoints. And now we're going to create random numbers. That many random numbers that you just said we were going to have. So less than elevation dot length k plus plus. So remember the dot length is how big is the array? Well, we're going from 0, and notice it's less than, not equal to. And then, so it's less than the length. So whatever the length is, if there's 10 numbers, we actually want to go to 9 because the array stores the numbers that big. So then it equals int math.random. Now remember, I want it from between 0 and 100, so you multiply it by 101 because math.random only goes to 0.9 repeating, and 0.9 repeating times 101 is 100.9 repeating. And then when you cast it right here as an int, it truncates it, so it drops off the n numbers. So that sets up the constructor. And I'll pause the video now, and I'll make another video to finish this up.